Welcome everybody to the SEO Vault. My name is Mike, today joined by Sophie. This is episode 220. And again, it's the SEO Vault where we go over the recent SEO news, filter industry noise, and go over what is currently working in the SERP so you do not have to figure it out on your own. So today we're going to have a nice, quick little holiday special episode here. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. If we don't see us till then, Sophie, how are you doing? How's your holiday week going?
It's going.
It's going.
I like the calmness. Sometimes doing nothing is nice.
Is it calm? A lot of people are more hectic around the holidays than calm.
I've never understood how, I guess, people have different families. I didn't go home this year, so I'm just at my house chilling.
I, yeah, that's definitely calm. I've been in like an entrepreneur for a while though, and the one thing I've noticed is that people like to create their own problems. And so when you're not left with like work or school or whatever, that's when you're just truly left to create your own insanity. So that's my theory on why the holidays are usually rough for people. They don't have any distractions except for their own little worlds that they are running around in.
People put a lot of pressure on stuff for the holidays, so
I mean, I people put pressure on themselves, period. But the holidays are like if the holidays are made by us, right? Like especially as a kid, like Christmas and stuff, you just get presents. But when you're growing up, there's no holiday unless you make a holiday. And so you're just like 100% put a project on your plate that you're managing now. And it's I get why people get stressed out and put so much emphasis
well,
on
like
it,
you were
but
saying about your family before, were able
yeah,
to go
well, I mean,
visit so many different houses.
we had a big family, so yeah, we would go to like two, three different houses each day, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, running all over the place. But again, that was also a personal
You still
obligation
do
of
that.
wanting to spend time with everyone and everyone feel like they were equal, and you know what I mean. There's all it was all just made up pressure. I could have just been like, I'll see them the day before Christmas Eve and the day after Christmas. Let's just add 2 more days on. We still get to see everyone. What's the big deal?
Yeah. I
But
mean,
no, that's not the
kids
way
don't
people
even know what
think.
day Christmas actually is. You could just tell them.
We thought about doing Christmas a day early on Christmas Eve this year since we actually did make plans to go out Christmas Day. We were like, let's just make Christmas Day easier, have Christmas morning the day before, and yeah, I mean our kid would never know the difference. No one else would unless we told him either. But it's funny how much pressure we put on ourselves for little things. You know what I mean? But I get it. Running a business, you put plenty of pressure on yourself. So, but good to hear you had a nice, easygoing, relaxing holiday. We did
Yeah,
too.
well, it's more work. Like work, I don't have as much going on either, just because everyone's out or working less.
Yeah, I mostly use it as time to catch up on things if there's things I'm behind on or whatever.
Yeah,
So, yeah, which
I
there's a
got
few.
ahead so I could relax this week.
Oh, no, I don't think if I could get ahead so I could relax this week, then I would just never be behind to begin with. That that would just be how I would do things if
Well,
I
that would
had
be
that
ideal.
that superpower. Right. But again, I make my own problems, so even when my plate's clean, I'll find 10 other things to distract me. Anywho, do we get any exciting news and updates for the people this holiday?
The biggest update's probably that the year-end sale's going on right now. Today's deal is free local engagement signals for the life of the campaign, any new campaign. And then we'll have a new deal every day. So there's a sales page. It's linked in the website. You can check out what the daily deals are. I'm trying to think of. I would just check on there because there's I think 8 more deals after. There's 11 or 12 altogether.
Yeah, we're running through the new year, right?
Yep. So it'll go through January 2nd. So there'll be a buffer day even after the New Year's Day, just in case anyone forgets. So we added that in
So
there, just
so
a
there's
little
five,
extra.
like four or five more days of daily deals after this day. So yeah, definitely check it out. And
And
then
the
we have a
daily deal on,
site-wide discount, right?
yeah, 25% off site wide. The last day's daily deal is pretty good. So that's probably the best deal that we offer all year. So I'd look at that day too.
Which one's that?
The extra, it's 5% back in store credit. So that's 30%, which we never really
That's
do more
right.
than that. But
Extra
that's,
savings. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that's, if they want to spend their budget before the end of the year, that deal won't work for them.
That's something that, yeah, some companies really need to think about. How much money you're going to leave in the bank for January 1st. Good old tax season. Can't wait till that starts.
That's the worst time of year. And I'll be on vacation during tax season, during the end of tax season. So I'll have to figure it out early. Oh my gosh.
Oh, and so you said today's the local engagement signals for the life of the campaign, and that's actually a new service you said we're launching next year, right? As also a
Yeah. So
standalone?
it'll be an add on first. And
Hmm.
then
Okay.
I think that, so they'll start with that on, then do the standalone. But they've already started pushing it out to some of our new campaigns as sort of a beta. We've been doing it for a while, but just in our own campaigns, not so much in client campaigns. So there was like an initial test, and then this one will be with real clients. So, and
Yeah, I
that's
know
already happening.
we've been testing this for a while. I know it goes back to even when I first started was just looking at very basic like CTA testing, and then that slowly evolved into all types of, different types of engagement and things that we were looking at that could be playing a part outside of just like a Google search and click and stuff. So that's been a pretty in-depth conversation we've talked about quite a few times. I have at least with a few people, and I think Lasha's been leading a ton of that, right, with the testing on that side.
Yeah. Well, we did the testing. I think started in, I want to say like June, May or June
Hmm.
of this year, and then they started rolling it out to some campaigns, and then they were using it as uh I don't even know what I was going to say. They were
Yeah, I
using it
remember
as,
some of the very early tests we didn't even see results with just some of the basic kind of stuff that you can throw at it. But then I remember Lasha really refined it, and he was like he one day was just talking to me, was like, yeah, if we turn this off, we see the rankings go back down, and we could turn it back on and see the rankings go back up.
well, Lasha was doing more robust engagement. I know, like his
Hmm.
interactions were a lot more across the board rather than just one type of interaction. So I think that's
Yeah.
kind of where they started
Well, that's why I said
building
I
out the
know it
campaign.
started because I was just looking at CTA, like your basic, Google search, click on a listing kind of software stuff, and then Lasha, like I said, was really looking into what signals and how that all works to refine a process. And honestly, I've talked to Lasha. I don't hold the keys. I don't know the exact strategy personally, but I know they've spent a lot of time refining it and testing and continue to do so, which is really exciting 'cause it's an area of like engagement, in general, even on like social networks and things like that, something that we use a lot of the times to get more exposure. But as an SEO, we generally don't play with those types of signals as much, right? Like it's content, backlinks, citations, that kind of stuff. So it's really awesome to see that process get refined and built and actually show results.
I know
Righty.
a lot of what Lasha was doing is documented in the test updates. I'm gonna publish that one or reshare it tomorrow. That way,
Yeah, we
because
should go
that goes
through
into
too.
detail on exactly what goes into it.
We could refine that too into like a blog post and probably because that ties into the mad scientist test that we do every week. Definitely sign up for that if you're not on there. Um, Ton of exciting
I
tests
know they've
coming next week or next year.
they've got a lot of that plan to create the content early. Well, I guess I do early in 2024, but this is something Mark wanted to offer before we even launch it, so people can kind of, or our loyal customers can get in on the early stages. And it's
Exactly.
forever, so I think it'll be a pretty hefty deal once it starts rocking and rolling.
Yeah, it's just getting added to the campaign for good, so definitely worth taking a look at today. Um, that is important though. I'm just looking at the next update here about the team being off. Most of the company is off. It's like the only company-wide holiday for our subcontractors and staff and everyone. So support will be a little slow. Some things may or may not get addressed as timely as normal. So just be aware of that. Everyone officially comes back on the 2nd, right? January 2nd is it? I mean, the 1st is technically a
Yeah,
holiday. Most people might be back on the 1st though, because some people might just start their week then. I don't know, but just be aware.
I
It's
know
the end
there's
of
a
the
lot
year.
of people that are still keeping an eye on things just in case anything urgent pops up, but
Danielle's still
most
checking
things will probably be
support, I
going.
know, and we got some people on, and yeah, you won't be ignored, but things just might be a little bit slower over the next 4 or 5 days. Just good to be aware. Ooh, the
Yeah,
quarterly
the only other
Webby.
things we got are the webinar.
That's exciting.
Which, yeah, I'm
It's
excited to get
very
in on that.
exciting for me because Mark said he has the most amazing webinar he is going to put on for everybody, and it is going to be the best webinar of the entire decade. And he's putting it all together, and he's going to do it all on his own, and we're going to all enjoy the amazingness that he presents. No, actually, in seriousness though, it did sound pretty cool. I'm actually looking for the notes right now. What was the
It's about
it was
content
content.
optimization. Yeah.
Yes, which sounds very boring, but in reality, the type of content optimization and data driven actions that Mark and in his agency that he's used for on page is not your standard. I think it was the last episode Vault where I was talking about how back in the day on page SEO courses were like put your keyword in the H1, put a variation
Yeah.
in the H2, make sure you get your keywords in the meta title and meta description. Yeah, definitely going to be way more advanced than that. So I am super excited, to be honest. On page is heavily overlooked in the industry, just all over. So awesome stuff. And new tests coming next year. Speaking of on page, I am personally working on some more single variable on page factors tests. See what indexes, see what doesn't. I think it was, I can't remember if it was last year or the year before that we first started seeing like meta descriptions, not necessarily indexing terms and some
I
interesting
think that was
things.
2021.
That might have been, oh wow, 2 years ago.
Because
Jeez.
I
So
think it
we,
was the same year that you did all the GBP single variable tests, where you went through and did like the
ooh,
30 different. I can't even remember all you
you're
did.
right. Yeah, I've been off the mad scientist. I took off most of 2023, didn't I? With all the changes and things going on. But I am getting heavy back into the tests now. So we got single variable on page tests that are going to be going over. We're going to be testing all the meta descriptions, images, image metadata, schema on single variable levels. But we do have also just schema tests that are those are in action right now, putting together some super advanced schema and markup, not just for a page, but site-wide schema, unique site wide. So each page having very unique schema for the elements and things like that. We want to really hammer down what is pushing rankings with schema because it's a huge talking point in the industry with entities and knowledge graphs and all that. So awesome. And then more press and premium citation tests. So we want to see some of the power behind these well, premium citations, but really what I mean is industry specific, local specific. Some could be premium costs, some could just be very relevant, but really kind of see how these listings impact movement. And then also how we can leverage them for additional SEO purposes, whether it's tiered linking, you know, domain authority stacking, cross linking them, all that good stuff. Exciting tests.
Are you going to be testing some of the changes that have been done to on page? Because I think on page
Um,
service is getting, or has been, I think it has been already revamped and implemented.
so we will probably be testing those things just as a byproduct of testing all the things. Um, the on page, if you're talking about the changes to the service, Lasha is actually testing all of that. Lasha, I think, has a lot of that data.
So then those are already tested because that's what he did a lot with the topical relevance and that TV mounting site.
Those were not single variable tests. So we can see the correlation and impact, and we purposely tried to keep variables limited when doing the process over and over. But specifically in the test that I'll be running in 2024, it'll be, let's just see if just doing this indexes or shows, because the one thing I'm personally looking for is the impact of non-indexable items, which is like we've kind of always had this belief, or I guess this idea, and I think Google kind of even says this, but there's a public index and then there's a private index. So Google has a list of sites that it doesn't show, and their data that doesn't show in the front end of the SERPs. And we've seen this with PBNs and all types of stuff like that, where these non-index properties appear to be causing ranking increases. And I've been, to this day, I want to create a test that can really show that, because I haven't really been able to get that correlation as a consistent test. But like the meta description, I think was probably the first thing I found, because you can still somewhat impact rankings by updating your meta description when I did that test, but it wasn't always indexing when I just put like a test term or made up terms in it. It wouldn't show. So exciting test. That's what I'm digging for. I want to uncover the secrets of Google's hidden index.
And hopefully we'll have the testing library done
Oh
in the next
yes,
couple weeks. That way everything will be more searchable.
that's exciting too. That'll make it much easier for me to go back and find the test that I don't remember when I did just now and figure out what's happened in that time frame as well. Because there's been a lot of changes for sure since I did a lot of those tests, which is the fun with testing. You can do it over and over again, and it's always a new experience. All right, let's see. Let's jump into maybe some quick news. And
There wasn't much in the news when I was looking.
yeah, not too much. I know some people have been seeing some volatility in the SERPs. Um, Google hit hard with spam attack. Actually, what was this one?
That was the most recent news, and it's across thousands of keywords, but maybe that could be the volatility.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. Like pretty much there's weird SERPs, right? People are like finding words that just the SERPs don't make any sense. And that's why I was like, is it a spam attack, or is Google search engine just sucking at their job right now, Um
I
but
can't
yeah, it
remember
looks
who called it the spam attack. Let me go look at their article.
there's like Craigslist results and stuff. Two kinds of low volume search queries where the spam sites are finding opportunities. So they're saying spam sites, and they're long tail keywords in local search terms that don't have a lot of competition, and there's things ranking. I mean, if I rank my Facebook page for a keyword that's low comp, that's not spam. That's just Google's search engine not doing their job well. But anyways, Again, that's probably, like I said, not a lot of news. A lot of people are talking about the open and closing signals on Google My Business, which anyone who's been around knows we've seen that for a long time. I think it was last week we brought it up, and I thought it was just kind of like SEOs talking about it, but now it makes more sense if Danny Sullivan came out and said, yes, this is now a stronger ranking factor, that it's now hot news. Um, but I specifically know that going way back when I ran my agency, I always had my hours set to 24 hours. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna tell anyone my SEO agency closes. Like, call me at 2 a.m. I'll sell you a monthly retainer deal. That's fine. Let's do it. So yeah, not big news, but everyone's talking about it. So, and then Google confirmed some indexing issues recently. I think that was earlier last week, which isn't surprising. Indexing has been all over. We've gotten some weird snippets and things like that. But if you're seeing anything exciting in the SERPs, let us know in the comments. All that good stuff. We'd definitely like to know. But it's been a pretty calm week, I think.
I saw somebody talking about the indexing was only for their A and P pages, which I don't really
Hmm.
I don't really use that on my
Yeah,
full.
we never really got to test the AMP stuff. By the time I even got around to testing it, Google was like, "Yeah, it's not that important," and all this other stuff. Uh, okay, so yeah, not too much of a crazy week here in the SEO world. So let us know
No.
if you've seen anything exciting. Big plans for next year. Definitely excited for that.
Once Mark is
Um,
back, we'll film the State of the Union 2024.
Yeah, watch out for that. All the massive changes, updates with the dashboard, updates with the service, the TATs have been worked on heavily, strategies, results. There's massive amounts of improvements that have already been made. We're just literally going to put it all in one place for you to see what really happened this year because it's a ton, and we have a lot planned for next year as well, which is super exciting. Alrighty, is there, I think, anything else, Sophie, or want to call it a quick holiday special episode?
I don't really have much else. I think next week we'll have more updates for things that are going to happen in 2024. Some new changes to the dashboard, and then maybe talk about the free APP level.
Mm,
That might be a good thing to talk about.
there's, yeah, a ton of stuff that's going to be going into that. Mark will be back next week, too, so I'm sure he'll have a ton of updates as well. So, other than that, yeah, that's the SEO Vault episode 220. If you enjoyed the episode, remember, like, share, smash that subscribe button. Give us your feedback. Let us know if you're seeing anything exciting in the SERPs. And you can find us on all your favorite podcasting stations. Don't forget, follow up, watch all the previous episodes. And happy holidays. Until then, we will see you after the new year. Bye.